Hey everybody, Cinema Sickness here to bring you a very special holiday rendition of One Title, Many Formats. Where today, for the holidays, we will be changing things up just a little bit. Instead of talking about one movie I have and all the different formats I have of that movie, we'll instead be talking about one story and all the different renditions of that story I have within my collection. And if you haven't figured it out already, we'll be talking about the classic Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. The first rendition of this classic I own is the 1938 version starring the great Reginald Owen. This here is a fantastic rendition of the story, probably one of the most classics, definitely the oldest I have within my collection. It's brilliant, it's great. If you're a big fan of the story, the way it should be told, this is definitely one to check out. Then I have the 1951 version starring Alistair Sim. Another great rendition of the story, pretty much just another classic telling. I would say the 1938 version is a little bit better, but this one is still good as well and definitely worth checking out. Again, if you are into the classic telling of the story, it's a great watch and another one I definitely recommend. Then I have the classic 1962 Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol. This is one of my favorite animated renditions of this story. It is great, brilliant, a hell of a lot of fun, very well told, and it stars the classic Mr. Magoo. If you are a fan of animation and you love A Christmas Carol, this is definitely one to pick up and own. Next up is the 1978 Rankin Bass, The Stingiest Man in Town. Now this is a special I've yet to see. I did just recently pick this set up, haven't got around to watching it yet. And in fact, until I did a little research on this, I didn't even know that it was a telling of A Christmas Carol. I just thought it was its own story. But apparently, it is another rendition, so now I definitely gotta check this one out, because I'm a huge Christmas Carol fan, I'm a huge Rankin Bass fan, and it should be a great watch, I'm sure. Then we have not only my favorite animated version of this story, but definitely one of my favorite versions just all around, and that is the 1983 Mickey's Christmas Carol. I've been a huge fan of this ever since I was a little kid, used to watch it every Christmas, and I still watch this one. It is fantastic. I've been a huge Disney buff ever since I was young, so you stick Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Scrooge, all the classic Disney characters in this classic story, you have a brilliant rendition. I cannot recommend it enough. And you don't necessarily have to get in this treasure set. It is released on a few different DVDs, so if you don't want to spend so much to get it, you can get it definitely a lot cheaper, and I would highly, highly recommend picking it up. Next is the 1984 Christmas Carol starring the great George C. Scott. Actually, haven't watched this one yet either, just haven't got around to it. It's actually still sealed. But I'm definitely going to check this one out. I've heard great things. Again, it's Christmas Carol, how can it be bad? And it also stars George C. Scott, Patton himself, so I definitely need to sit down and watch this one ASAP, but like I said, I hear it's pretty good. Then I have another animated rendition with the 1985 A Jetson Christmas Carol. This is pretty decent, nothing more than a Jetson holiday special, but if you like the Jetsons and you like A Christmas Carol, it is certainly one to pick up and check out. Next is the classic 1988 rendition starring the great Bill Murray, Scrooge. This is another one of my favorites from when I was a kid. Loved just the classic telling of the story, but with a modern twist. It's not your very typical rendition of A Christmas Carol. And since I grew up watching all the classic animated Christmas carols and a few live versions thrown in there, I was used to just a standard rendition of the story, the same story I've seen a million times before. And then I watched Scrooge and everything was changed up. It was something different, something fun, something original, and this is one I would highly recommend. It has a fantastic lineup. Obviously stars Bill Murray, which is great. I love Bill Murray. He's extremely funny in this movie. The whole cast is actually extremely funny in this movie. It is just a lot of fun and definitely something to watch just for a change. Then the classic 1992 A Muppets Christmas Carol. This is one of my favorites from my childhood. In fact, this is my wife's all-time favorite Christmas movie. She cannot get enough of this, and I don't blame her. It's extremely funny. It's the Muppets. It's really, really well done. If you're a Muppets fan, this is definitely something you're going to want to have. But it's also just another great telling of the story. Something for kids and adults to watch together. There's plenty of adult humor mixed in here as well. Definitely something to pick up and check out. Then in 1994 we got A Flintstones Christmas Carol. Just like a Jetsons Christmas Carol, this is just a Flintstones special, kind of done in the same way. It's okay, it's not bad, it's just not great, just another rendition of the classic story, and if you like the Flintstones, it's worth checking out. And then from 1998, An All Dogs Christmas Carol. Once again, another pretty much traditional rendition of the story. It's okay. I can't highly recommend this one as it wasn't one of my favorite tellings of the story, but it is pretty decent, and if you're an All Dogs fan, again, it's worth checking out. Next is the 1999 made-for-TV movie, A Christmas Carol, starring the great Patrick Stewart. Now, this here's another one I actually haven't watched yet. I did just recently pick this one up, but from what I hear, it's really well done. Just another traditional telling of the story, but I hear it is fantastic because apparently Patrick Stewart had been performing this character of Scrooge for many years on stage, and then they finally brought it to a movie, and I hear he just does a phenomenal job with it, so this I cannot wait to check out. Then in 2006 we got Bah Humdug, A Looney Tunes Christmas. Now unfortunately I cannot really recommend this one. I watched it for the first time last year, really did not enjoy it. All the jokes felt extremely flat. A lot of this is just bright colors and things moving fast. It really feels like something you would just pop in for your 3-year-old to just kind of shut him up for 45 minutes. Nothing great. I really would not recommend it. Not the best telling of the story. And finally, the 2009 A Christmas Carol. Another great Disney rendition of the story, starring Jim Carrey. Animated beautifully. I really enjoyed this one. Thought it was a lot of fun. Some people gave it some flack. I don't know why. Some people just didn't seem to like it. I thought it was good. Thought it was really well done. Jim Carrey does a fantastic job. I like how all the different spirits look like Jim Carrey. It was just a really good telling of the traditional story. And that is what it is. It is a traditional telling of the story. But again, really well done. I would definitely recommend it. Again, the animation's beautiful. The story's great. Definitely one to see. So there you go, guys. That's a look at all the different renditions of A Christmas Carol I have within my collection. Now that was just the TV specials and the movies I own. If I really wanted to get into it, there are some TV episodes as well that are renditions of this story, but had I talked about those, we'd be here all day, so I did skip over them. I was also just scratching the very surface of what's available out there. This is just what I own, but there are a ton more versions of the story on film. I'd recommend going to Wikipedia, look up A Christmas Carol, and check out all the different versions that have been brought to film. There are a ton. A lot more that I would love to have for my collection. So for any reason you haven't seen any version of A Christmas Carol, do yourself a favor, check it out. It's a classic for a reason. It's fun, it's really well told, it has a great message, and there is a rendition out there for everybody. Whether you want something traditional, whether you want something funny, whether you want something animated, whatever you want, there is something out there for everybody. There have just been so many different versions of the story told, and I would highly recommend checking it out and just pick up different versions too. Like I said, there's something to fit everybody, and no matter what you're into, you're really going to find something you love, I'm sure. But it's a classic. Check it out. I love it. That's why I own so many different versions. It's a great story. I watch it every year. Definitely see it. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next video. Bye.